Welcome, folks. Thanks again for listening to my lectures. Today, we'll be going over a section of Chapter 10, Contingency Models of Leadership. Contingency models of leadership take into account the situation or context within which leadership occurs. Fiedler was among the first that acknowledged that effective leadership is contingent on the characteristics of the leader and the situation. Fiedler's contingency model helps explain why a manager may be an effective leader in one situation and ineffective in another. Two things are characteristic of this model: leader style and situational characteristics. A leader style is a characteristic approach to leadership. According to this model, leader style is unchangeable and comes in two flavors: relationship-oriented leaders and task-oriented leaders. Relationship-oriented leaders are leaders whose primary focus is on high-quality interpersonal relationships. This doesn't mean the job doesn't get done. It just means they focus on their relationships with others. Second, task-oriented leaders. These are leaders whose primary focus is on making sure workers perform at a high level and on task accomplishment. They may be concerned with their relationships, but it's not the primary goal. Situational characteristics. There are three situational characteristics that determine how favorable a situation is for leadership. The first is leader-member relations. Leader-member relations is defined by the extent to which followers like, trust, and are loyal to their leader. Situations are more favorable when the leader-member relations are good. So, it's how well you're liked and trusted as a leader, which then leads to loyalty to a specific leader. Obviously, when people like you, they're more apt to do what you say. Think of this as an approval rating. You don't want it too high, but you don't want it too low either. Second is task structure. Task structure is the extent to which the work to be performed is clear-cut so that a leader's workers knows what needs to be done and how to do it. And thirdly, position power. Position power is the amount of legitimate, reward, and coercive power a leader has by virtue of his or her position. Situations are more favorable when the position power is strong. Basically, the authority afforded by your title. Let's look at this theory in action. Leader style is an enduring characteristic that managers cannot change. This suggests that either managers should be placed in situations that fit their style, or the situation needs to change. Situations can be changed. For example, giving more position power or clarifying a goal. Basically, managers need the right tools for each situation. Some can use them better than others, but in all, managers need the same tools. I should note that not all people agree with this. CallOfTheWild.com calls Fiedler's model academic acrobatics. Here's a piece of the article. Let's look at another contingency model, House's path-goal theory. House's path-goal theory relates to how effective leaders motivate subordinates to achieve organizational goals. There are three ways managers can do this. The first is clearly identifying the outcomes that subordinates are trying to obtain from the workplace, what they want. Second, rewarding subordinates with these outcomes for high performance in the attainment of work goals, giving them what they want. And thirdly, clarifying for subordinates the paths leading to the attainment of work goals, how they get there to get the rewards that they want. How do we do this? After all, if people aren't motivated to do what you say, the results really won't be there. There are four behaviors of leadership that motivate subordinates. First are directive behaviors. These are similar to initiating structure and include setting goals, assigning tasks, showing workers how to complete tasks, and taking concrete steps to improve performance. Second are supportive behaviors. These behaviors are similar to consideration and include expressing concern for subordinates and looking out for their best interests. participative behaviors. These give subordinates a say in matters and decisions that affect them. And lastly, achievement-oriented behaviors. These behaviors motivate subordinates to perform at the highest level possible by, for example, setting challenging goals, expecting that they be met, and believing in subordinates' capabilities. So, it's helpful when dealing with others that you choose a behavior that's going to give you the outcome you want from them. Here are some characteristics of each so you can decide what fits in what kind of situation. Let's look at the leader substitutes model. A leadership substitute is something that acts in place of the influence of a leader and makes leadership unnecessary. Members of an organization can sometimes perform at a high level, without a manager exerting influence over them. There are 3 ways leadership can be substituted. Characteristics of subordinates, which are their skills, abilities, experience, knowledge, and motivation. Characteristics of the situation or context, which is the extent to which the work is interesting and enjoyable. And thirdly, the empowering of your associates or self-managed teams. The need for leadership influence decreases because team members manage themselves. Substitutions. Substitutes for leadership can increase organizational efficiency and effectiveness because they free up some of the manager's valuable time and allows them to focus on other ways to improve organizational effectiveness. This lesson from a UK website says the same thing and actually takes it a bit further. It says the Substitutes for Leadership Theory by Karen Jeremier in 1978 proposes that under some circumstances, situational factors may substitute for leadership. In addition, there are situational factors that may neutralize leadership, for example, preventing the leader from taking action. So, in closing, you need to know your associates. For example, what they're striving for and what motivates them best so as to determine what approach works best. Fiedler's contingency model explores how a manager's leadership style needs to be matched to that person's leadership situation for maximum effectiveness. House's path goal theory focuses on how managers should motivate subordinates and describes specific behaviors managers can use to have a highly motivated workforce. Leadership substitutes model alert managers to the fact that sometimes they don't need to exert influence over subordinates. Lastly, there is no one approach fits all motif. What will motivate your employees varies from employee to employee. Sometimes it may be better for workers to figure it out for themselves without management intervention. It's up to you, the manager, to decide what approach best fits each situation based upon your leadership style. Once again, thank you for viewing my lecture.